Hello and welcome here to our next round of the NXTGEN MX5 Cup here from Brands Hatch GP. It is going to be an absolutely fantastic one. We have got three amazing races coming your way with a chance of some rain in the latter stages of the evening as well. I hope you are doing well and you are ready for this one. We had a packed field of drivers heading out onto the circuit last week. We have an even heavier pack of drivers heading out this week around such a short circuit as well in comparison to the Monza circuit from last week. This circuit much smaller and much shorter. In fact, it is just 1.19 miles long and a lap time only of about 50 seconds. It is going to be an incredibly tight field as all the drivers are going to be heading themselves around and trying to get themselves towards the front of the field. This is, of course, the second round of 8 for this league, and that will be rounding off all the way on the 16th of December at Mosport. But we're here today at Brands Hatch for the second round of competition. We're heading across Zandvoort next week before we go to the beach, the Long Beach circuit on the 18th of November. Ending off November, we'll be heading across to Aragon. And then we've got the Red Bull Ring, Thruxton and Mosport to finish this league off in December. I am really excited for this entire calendar. It is such a great calendar with lots of different opportunities for drivers to find their way out front. At Monza last week, we saw drivers benefiting from the tow, from the instance around to move up the order. Drivers be wanting to do something similar here today, that is for certain, but the problem for some of them will be trying to find the space around the circuit because it is going to be extremely tight for each and every one of them heading around. Practice underway here at the moment, and with practice continuing for the last hour, the biggest gap inside the top 15 drivers right now is just 7/100 of a second. It is incredibly close, the entire field. The top 10 drivers separated by just 1/4 of a second. The top 27 drivers, separated by just a second. Of course, this is a short lap, so a second is a significant amount of time to lose. But it also shows you that this is an extremely tight field, and it is going to be an extremely tight set of races for all of our drivers. Before we head too much onto the focus of our race here at Brands Hatch, however, let us look back at Monza, in particularly the standings that we have coming out of Monza, because the pro standings, that finds Kieran Sharp at the top of the order with 41 points, and it is Adam Delmont sat in second place right now. Mikey Doble got into third place because not having the best race 1, wanting better in race 2, found that and found a good result in race 3 as well, but race 1 did not go Doble's way, finding himself in third. Adam Wilson-Weir, though, some great results as well back at Monza. He sits in 4th, and Sam Spinell in 5th position right now. That's top 5 in the standings, but you can just see how close it is right now. Everything's going to change, of course. We've only got one event completed, 3 races, and we've got another 3 running today. So we might see some different drivers up towards the front and getting involved. One of those could be Ben Oucher. Ben Oucher currently sitting in the pro standings in 10th. He is currently the fastest in the practice session right now. Adam Delmont, however, second in standings. He is second in the order right now as well. So there is some similarities to the drivers at the top and the drivers at the bottom. Let's have a little look at the Pro-Am standings then. We have got Craig out at the top of that order. Craig Twardock from getting some great results last week, actually, and he puts himself a number of points, 9 points clear of Phil McDougall in second position. So Craig Twardock has a good opportunity here to double down on his results from Monza and go for some even greater points here. He is running the fastest of the Pro-Am class right now in the practice session. Of course, practice does not always reflect across into qualifying or the races. We saw that from Jamie Dory last week, with Dory going the fastest in practice and just not finding that time at all in qualifying. So it's all going to be about finding the right space out on circuit for you to get your lap in as best as you can. And those pro drivers have got to be careful because all of their positions that they get the points from are from overall positions. Right now, for example, Isaac Doble, he sits 4th overall. He's 3rd in class in that pro category. However, he will get points for 4th because Craig Twardock is faster than him and ahead of him at the moment. So the pro drivers want to beat absolutely everyone out on the circuit. They need to beat everyone out on the circuit. Our Pro-Am drivers, however, only need to beat the other Pro-Am drivers out there on the circuit. So Craig Twardock sitting 3rd at the moment overall, but he is 1st in class, so he will get points for being 1st in class. That is how that works. So just as we look forward into this league, just a quick tip onto what to pay attention to. Pro drivers wanting to beat everyone, Pro-Am only needing to beat those in the class. Our Pro-Am field is stronger than our Pro field tonight. 16 Pro cars out there, 22 Pro-Am drivers out there right now in this practice session as we're just coming towards the end of practice with about 5 minutes left to go. Looking ahead then, the weather is not looking great around the Brands Hatch circuit this evening. It's looking quite British, I would say. Cloudy, and more cloudy across the whole of today's event through the practice, all the way through to race number 3. However, it does increase a chance of rain as the sessions continue. It's looking like there's not going to be any rain within the practice qualifying or the first race of the day. However, race number 2, race number 3, both of them, there is a possibility of some rain. However, obviously nothing fully confirmed. It is just an overview of what we expect here today around this Brands Hatch Indy circuit. It's such a small circuit as well, with so many cars. It's going to be brilliant. Of course, carnage last week is the only word I can think of to sum up how Monza went. Absolute carnage with multiple major wrecks. We didn't get a clean race at all last week. Safety cars called in all 3 of the races, and the safety car called in the final race of the day ended up turning into a red flag after pretty much the entire field was caught up in the opening lap wreck at the start of race number 3. However, I don't expect to see the same sort of carnage today. Now, is there going to be carnage? Is there going to be a bit of craziness? Definitely. You got more than 30 cars heading around a circuit that is just over a mile long. You are going to get a lot of craziness. However, for our drivers out there, I'm sure that it's not going to be as much carnage as last week with all of the bump drafting. It is much slower this week, of course, but we could see some interesting overtaking maneuvers being made into corners and such, which will make it quite interesting, I think, for you watching at home, as well as us here in the booth and the drivers down on the field, although I'm sure that they are hoping for a bit of a cleaner race than last week, especially drivers that weren't able to fully take out results that they were hoping for. Thinking of Jamie Dory there, was on for some good results, but unfortunately not able to get across the line to take those good results. Isaac Doble, for example, race number 2, went around in his fight for 5th position in that one, so he wasn't able to take all the points out that he would have wanted. We think about some of the other drivers out there as well, just not getting the positioning that they would have wanted towards the end of that race to cross the line and finish. A number of new drivers heading down onto the field tonight that weren't here last week. We got the two McDougals out there, two McGoverns out there, I do apologise. We've got a Harry McGovern and a Sean McGovern, both here new for the first time this week. We've got Wayne Douglas of Douglas Motorsport. He is here in the session as well. In fact, he is sat in pit lane right now. If we've got anyone out on track at the moment, we do have a few drivers out on track at the end of this practice session with just a few minutes left on the clock in this session. I hope you are ready. It is going to be a great evening of racing as this session comes towards a close. Just 2.5 minutes left in this practice session. Obviously, we've got the open qualifying session drivers going to need to find the space around this Indy circuit, which I think is a lot easier said than done here. I do think that it is going to be pretty hard to find that space. In fact, we'll get our track map up early because it's going to be interesting to see how busy the circuit is going to get in that qualifying session. Quite empty at the moment towards the end of practice as drivers just coming around the lap, but we are going to get a couple of flickerings because of how many drivers are here, but it shouldn't affect us too much. It will mostly be on that track map overlay and not on our screens in front of us. That pit lane, as you can see, very, very full right now. We are watching Mikey Doble. That's who we're watching right now. He sits 9th at the moment in this session, but let's just get the intervals up for you. I want you to just have a look at how close this practice session is right now, because it is incredibly close. There are your intervals on the left-hand side. That is how tight it is here in the practice session. You can see that nothing goes more than a 10th between the driver before the driver ahead until you get to Michael Clough in 20th position. Actually, that's almost changed. It's now Michael Clough in 21st position. As Adrian Futch goes into 20th, that's almost down to less than a 10th either, and that's our biggest gap inside our top 30. Actually, it's tied as our biggest gap of 0.109 inside the top 30 here in this practice session. 38 drivers preparing themselves to get around this circuit. It is going to be absolutely incredible as this is Craig Twardock. He is the driver at the top of the Pro-Am standings. So Craig, looking to replicate his solid results at Monza, sits 9 points clear in the lead of his standings actually. So Twardock is going to be looking to replicate those strong results from Monza, and right now in this practice session he is proving he has got the speed, so he should have a good chance here of replicating some good results. As we see who else might be out on circuit. There's not too many people out there right now, as most of them have come in as practice comes towards a close now. As this is Gavin Gardiner. He sits in 20th position right now in this practice session. But with that being said, this session is going to come to a close. Practice is going to tick over and end, and then we are going to get qualifying underway. Like I said, trying to find a space down there here in this qualifying session is what is going to be super important. Finding some space where other drivers aren't in your way, they aren't holding you up, is going to be super important to get in a good lap time. As you can see, just already a flurry of drivers coming out of pit lane as I break everything and click way too many buttons. As I always do. Let's get our track map up. That's not showing anyone that I want to show. There we go. Let's have a look then at how busy it is going to get out on track. And right now, oh my life, that is busy coming out of pit lane. Most drivers now out onto the track. We're going to get more out soon, but you can see just how busy it is out there, how little space drivers are going to be getting on each other, and someone has already either hit a wall or blown an engine there. This is Kieran Sharp. Sharp leads the pro standings right now. He had a great set of races back at Monza. He's looking to get some good races here. Driver out of pit lane in front of him, tucks him out of the way, doesn't want to get involved in any lap times that are being placed here by Sharp right now. As we ride on board with Kieran Sharp through Druid's hairpin and up towards Graham Hill Bend. If the volumes are a little bit off, then do let me know and I can adjust them live so that they can be sorted. Just message in any one of the chats that we are broadcasting on YouTube, on Twitch or on Facebook, up towards the end of the lap now. And very easy to get the car pulled out here, the understeer to pull you out if your car tyres aren't quite warmed up. Very easy to get some oversteer too and spin to the inside with the rear end being a bit loose. So it's going to be interesting to get your line through there nicely as Kieran Sharp comes across the line and will be one of the first drivers to put the times in. In fact, he goes the fastest overall as drivers start to put their times on the board. Like I said, I do feel like we are going to get a bit of a mix of drivers here getting in there 15 minutes of qualifying. You can see a gaggle of cars right now. This is Lewis Delmont, and he is with the number, I think that's number 16 with him there, trying to still pick up on liveries. I think that may have been Adrian Rich just behind as we're all getting themselves involved in a little bit of a fight. It's all about finding a good space around the circuit as to basically getting a nice clean run in where you're not being hindered by anyone ahead of you, but you could get a bit of the toe, definitely, along what is not really a pitch straight here. It can constantly curve to the right-hand side, and not a gentle curve either. It's quite a heavy curve up until the timing line, and then you get straight back onto the turn again, onto the brakes for turn number 1 as drivers find time. Ben Outrio once again. Oh, it's a huge wreck. A huge wreck down at Paddock Hill Bend here in qualifying. That is to be expected though. Drivers are pushing as hard as they possibly can. There is going to be drivers who are going to wreck, and unfortunately with how close everyone is, it's going to be almost impossible to avoid those wrecks as they run around. We watch Gavin Gardner here. He sits in 19th place right now. You can see the gaps. We've got the intervals, and actually I think the intervals here are better to look at than the gaps, because the gaps are going to be great from seeing how close drivers are to the lead, but you can just see how close they are to each other as well. We'll flick around a little bit so we can have a look at both of those intervals. Josh Brown was up to 17th, William Kurtler to 14th place there. Adam Delmont once again in a bit of a fight here, trying to find track position. This time it was with Matthew Cheverton. But the 37 machine of Adam Delmont sits 4th at the moment. Kieran Sharp has gone fastest overall and has done that by quite a bit of a margin. Let's have a look here at our gaps. And you can just see right now the top 22 are all within a second. Kieran Sharp finds even more time out front here as we watch him head around and up towards Druids. I think Sharp has found what is quite a lull in the circuit. He's got one driver in front of him, one driver behind him, but there's not really much else around that. There's a bit of a gap to drivers ahead and drivers behind. So for the most part, drivers are going to be looking like they're just being held up. However, those drivers have had some car around there. I think that may have been possibly Craig Jones around at the final turn, but up towards the timeline. Drivers such as Sharp here, who's able to find the space, are going to be doing really, really well. Nick Clibbins has gone second and extremely close to Kieran Sharp's time. Just not close enough, unfortunately. Over the timing line they go. Connolly's going to have to reset to pit lane and try that again. And Ben Oucher just ahead here with that toe. Finding time. Adam Delmont goes fastest now. Finally, after having a bit of a fight with a number of cars, has found some space around there and has gone fastest. Adam Delmont fastest overall. Kieran Sharp now down to second. Ben Outrew in third, followed by Nick Clibbin. Sam Smith moves into fifth position, closing the gap between fourth and fifth right now. It's incredibly close as our drivers head around. And actually, can we find where Delmont is? Delmont's just about to start a new lap here. Let's ride on board with Adam Delmont here and see what sort of line he's running. He sticks to the right hand side, getting that toe from up ahead. Nick Clibbins has gone faster now. Delmont needs to improve on this lap, or on a future lap at the very least. He pushes hard over the edge of the circuit there, but it does continue to be a valid lap. It isn't an off track if you run onto the turfing there on the left hand side. Delmont continues to run through though and heading up towards the braking point now. Over the curbing nicely there for Adam Delmont, again keeping it just inside track limits but pushing it hard. Closing up now to the drivers in front of him. That could be an hindrance if the number 9 pulls in front of him, which it does, and Adam Delmont had to touch the brakes and he is not going to go faster on this lap, unfortunately, but that is the risk of an open qualifying session like this. All the drivers down on the circuit and being so many cars down on the circuit trying to get their lap times in. Delmont losing time by about 0.3 per second on his previous best lap. Delmont now going for the overtake, trying to dispatch the number 10 machine out of the way, that being James Parfitt. With this league as well, obviously post-race penalties are applied, as well as there being live stewarding throughout the event as well. However, post-race penalties do also apply, then giving you license points. The driver that needs to be careful on license point is James Parfitt. He receives 6 at Monza. If he gets another 6 here, which would be very unfortunate, 12 would be a pit lane start for the driver reaching 12 incident points. You've got to be careful with the incident points. You want to stay clean at the same time as having good, fun racing, because the clean racing is what makes it incredibly fun for the drivers out there. No matter how much fun we had in the commentary box with the wrecks last week at Monza, of course the drivers out there want to get as much time as possible behind the wheel. A spin out of Druids behind the number 37 machine of Adam Delmont, who is looking for time here and seems to be running a nice lap this lap. Can it be fast enough to go on to provisional pole position? That provisional pole position spot constantly changing, and at the moment, as you can see, the top 28 drivers no more than 1/10 of a second to the driver in front of them. It's incredibly close. It is milliseconds separating drivers out there at the moment. It was a 51.8, but an invalid lap for Kieran Sharp that time around. Have a look here. We've got Isaac Doble. In fact, Doble pulling along his brother there, Mikey Doble just behind. That could have been what helped Mikey Doble get into 5th position in this session at the moment, as that was Jamie Dory just behind Doble, running off the circuit a little bit. Through goes Mikey Doble and Jamie Dory. Isaac Doble dropping back here. Is he going for the toe on this lap? Let's ride on board and see how Isaac Doble does up towards the timing line, starting a new lap here. 5 minutes left on the clock. With such a long qualifying session with 15 minutes on a track like this, obviously at Monza you only managed to get about 6-7 laps in. Here you can get 15, 16, 17 laps in if you're out there constantly putting laps in. Isaac Doble though looking to try and find time with the slipstream this time. We've got Jamie Dory just ahead of him on circuit, then that is Mikey Doble in 5th position just up ahead as well. Dory slides, moves out of the way. That actually opens the circuit up for Isaac here. And he's getting the distant toe from his brother. Heads through the final turn. Car up the inside is out of the way. Not going to be a problem. Is this going to be an improved lap from Isaac Doble? As now the top 30, the top 33 are no more than 1/10 to the driver in front of them. That is incredible how close this field is. Let's get the overall gap there. It wasn't an improvement on a lap time from Isaac. But looking at the overall gaps here, you can just see that the top 23 are all within half a second. The top 33 are all within a second of each other at the moment. It is going to be an incredibly tight race here. With how close it is in qualifying, the races are just going to be incredible. Mikey Doble moving out of the way there, letting drivers through. He wants to get a bit of a tow now. Is that the drivers through, including his brother, up towards the timing line for Isaac Doble once more. Can he find an improvement on his 51.6 this time around? It's a 6.25 for him. No, it is a 51.8 that time around. No improvement. Craig is our fastest. Oh, as he goes off at Paddock Hill Bend. I do apologise, Craig. Just as we head over to Craig, he goes around, but he is the fastest Pro-Am driver at the moment. He's leading the Pro-Am class in the standings. This is exactly what he wants. It's exactly what he needs. He's only a thousandth of a second off of Wayne Douglas right now. He sits in 6th position. But he is also only 22 hundredths of a second off of Nigel Stock behind. So it is still very, very close between those class battles as well. As we continue through up towards Graham Hill Bend, we are currently watching Nigel Stock. He is second in that Pro-Am field. He sits 8th overall at the moment. As Nick Clibbins, still the fastest man out here in qualifying. Adam Delmont being the second fastest at the moment. Ben Oucher, Kieran Sharp, they've both found their way to provisional pole at some point during the session. They're not there right now though. But what you will find is that massive gaggle of cars coming out of the final corner. It is an absolute collection around there at the moment. Drivers trying to find space. Someone who has found space is Adam Delmont. That's going to help his lap time because he's not going to have anyone in front of him. However, it's not going to help his lap time because he isn't going to get a tow. So he backs out. We're going to ride on board as he is going to try and gain a tow here. He actually runs off the circuit to get out of the way. He's looking right now, I believe, to find somebody to follow, or is it potentially a pit lane visit for Adam Delmont, the man in second? No, he's found a distant tow. It is a very distant tow, but he's going for it, and he is going to try and push on this lap. Adam Delmont starts what will be his penultimate lap if he pushes on next lap as well, with just over a minute on the clock, of course, with a lap time taking about 50 seconds. Delmont pushes over onto the outside of the Paddock Hill Bend, but of course you can run on that turfing. It remains a valid lap. You haven't got to worry. Sean McGovern moves into position 18. So he moves up the order with a previous lap time, which is nice. Adam Delmont again pushing hard, keeps it just within track limits that you need to do here around Brands Hatch. To keep this lap time valid, and onto the final braking point. No tow in front of him. The driver he was following backs out. What it also means is Delmont won't get a tow next lap, but is he up on this lap? Is this going to be a faster lap than his current one? His best being a 51.4. It's a 51.9. It is an incredible amount of time at the moment being lost. This is Ben Outra that we ride on board now. He goes on to his last lap. Can he find any time here? If he finds, if he finds 3,000ths of a second, he'll move on to third. If he finds 1,300ths of a second, he'll move into second place. Doesn't need a lot of time found here from Ben Oucher, but he runs wide, and that is an invalidated lap time for him as he runs off the circuit. Ben Oucher's final lap will not count. As Adam Delmont has also run off the circuit, you can see him pulling on a load of gravel there as well. As drivers now finish their qualifying laps, and they will come to a close. Now at Monza, I went too early with the grid, and we ended up missing out on a few improvements out there. So we'll stay out here until the timer for qualifying has ticked to 0, and then we'll do a very, very quick run through of our grid order, which is a huge grid of almost 40 cars tonight. That is incredible. Toby Coldo comes across the line. He's sitting 27th at the moment. Will not have an improvement on that lap, but that is For the most part then, qualifying done, 15 seconds left here. Like I said, we'll hold off on doing the grid order up until the point that I know that that is definitely going to be the grid that we start with. As qualifying has now come to a close, we will find our way onto the racing surface in a moment's time to grid up and prepare ourselves. So if you haven't already, grab yourself a drink, grab yourself a snack. We'll talk through your qualifying grid, and then race number 1 of the day will be underway. So, starting this one on pole position is going to be Nick Clibbins, just beating Adam Delmont to that pole. We got Kieran Sharp starting in 3rd ahead of Ben Oucher. Mikey Doble will start in 5th ahead of Wayne Douglas, and 7th is Craig Twardock. And then following him is Nigel Stott, Twardock being the leader in that Pro-Am class, leading the Pro category out in the Pro-Am category, out on the surface as well. Gavin Gardner will start in 9th ahead of Isaac Doble. Jamie Dory will start in 11th here ahead of Andrew Pike. 13th will be for Tom Davidson. Then we will have Sam Smith, Lee Horn and Josh Brown. 17th is for Adam Wilson-Weir, and 18th for Sean McGovern. As we had a little bit of an issue there, Lewis Delmont will start in 19th position. 20th will be Alan McCain. Adrian Fritsch will start in 21st ahead of Phil McDougall. Carl Thompson will start in 23rd position ahead of Mark Hughes. 25th, will be Harry McGovern ahead of Michael Clough, Toby Cole and William Kirtley. The rest of the field is Gatter, Ariba, Sykes, Cheverton, McGuinness, Manners, Outhouse, Brazil, Connolly, Parfit, and without a lap time at the back was Craig Jones. Right, we prepare ourselves for the first race of the day. 18 laps here around the Brands Hatch Indy circuit, as drivers will prepare themselves, get themselves ready, all of them getting onto the grid and looking comfortable in doing so in their grid spots, as that wasn't meant to come up. There we go. As we do prepare ourselves. Nick Clibbins then, starting from pole position, will have the inside line heading up towards turn number 1, the field 2 by 2, all the way back to the back of the field. And we're going to prepare ourselves for racing here at Brands Hatch Indy. 18 laps on the clock. The drivers prepare themselves. Engines revving. And we are green here, as we've got already a jump start from Ariba up towards the front of the field. Not a great start for him, but up towards turn number 1 now, and Nick Clibbins has got a great launch over Adam Delmont. Kieran Sharp has tucked into 3rd position. Ben Oucher in 4th as well, just behind, as the leading drivers all settle themselves. Single file for now is side by side behind, though, up towards Druids Hairpin, with drivers trying to find any position that they can in the early point in this race. A few drivers visiting the circuit, the grass off the circuit now. Sam Smith and Josh Brown both going off the circuit there on the exit of Druids, and we've got a spin. That's the number 27 of Sam Smith around, and he is going to it looks like a few more drivers getting collected in issues towards the back of the field, but for the most part, there we go, as they all seem to filter in towards the back of the field. It looks like they have sorted themselves out now, but towards the front of the field, and it is going to be Nick Clibbins leading the way. Adam Delmont and Kieran Sharp, though, fighting it out for 2nd position right now. They have to duck in, aren't going to be able to do anything going up towards Paddock Hill Bend. All on the brakes into Druids, nothing right now, as I do believe it's this larger field, we're just having a few issues with the driver numbers again. Don't worry about that, we'll get that sorted for the next race as we come through Graham Hill Bend there, and it looks like Michael Clough now with a penalty that he'll have to serve as well. That was it looks like it was for a speeding into pit lane, because he served a meatball flag, so I believe that was speeding in pit lane for him, as we've got another car off on pit entrance there. That's not where you want to be, off the circuit going into the pit entrance at the moment. But this has been a much cleaner start than what we saw at Monza last week. This is Harry McGovern leading Kirtler and Cole. Cole to the inside of Kirtler. Cole has to back out, and McGovern there looking to the inside of Fritsch, gets that position as well. As now it's 3 wide up towards the Druids' head, but there's contact, a little bit of two-wheeling action from Fritsch, as that was William Kurtler, who just bumped him out of the way and a little bit wide, but sorting themselves out without anyone going around. That being said, the driver off the circuit there, has he recovered? He has managed to recover, driver's avoiding, and it looks like no further incident there. Trying to figure out who that was that just went off the circuit, but that so much is happening all at once right now that it is very difficult to keep up with my timing standings. But this is the battle that we are looking at right now. It's the battle for the lead, and Adam Delmont looks to the inside of Nick Clibbins. They're side by side. Clibbins up the inside here. Oh, sorry, around the outside as Delmont gets the inside, and Delmont moves to the lead. Clibbins falls down to second position. Kieran Sharp looking just behind here. Surely we'll try to take some advantage on this one if possible. As we now head up towards the end of the lap. Slightly different line there from Clibbins. A tighter entrance could compromise the exit here, as Sharp is right behind on the rear end. The toe is going to be helping out, but it's also going to be helping Clibbins from getting a toe on Delmont at the moment. To the outside goes Sharp. Clibbins holds defensive into Paddock Hill Bend, and that's invited Oucher up the inside of Clibbins towards Paddock Hill Bend. It doesn't happen, as that's Mikey Doble looking to the inside of Ben Oucher and gets that position up to fourth, but Oucher's like, no thank you, I'm taking it back. Doble now saying, well, you can do that, but I can do it too. Switchback galores in this fight, and Mikey Doble moves into fourth position, being pushed there by Craig Twardock. Twardock trying to follow Doble through past Ben Oucher, can't quite do it at the moment, and Twardock now under attack as well as Wayne Douglas gets to the inside. That's Isaac Doble just behind this fight as they come up towards the line to get onto the sixth lap of asking. The route turn number one is still side by side here from Twardock and Douglas. Douglas moves all the way to the right hand side to go defensive, as that is Douglas. No, that's Douglas on the inside, Twardock on the outside. I'm getting used to the deliveries, I do apologise. That's 200% of Twardock through and remains ahead of Douglas at the moment. A fight once more out at the front, as that was a Doble, I believe Isaac Doble, onto the grass in his fight to try and get past Wayne Douglas, and he moves to the inside. A great dive up the inside there. Can Douglas find the speed on the exit in this battle for 7th place right now? Douglas tucks in behind. Which way is he going to go? Is he going to go for the outside into Paddock Hill Bend, or the inside? He goes to the outside. There's contact! Jamie Dorey takes out Wayne Douglas. As we go through Paddock Hill Bend, Wayne Douglas drops down, loses time, but Jamie Dorey, contact there with Wayne Douglas. Douglas down the order and recovers in 18th position after fighting there for a top 5. As we head now up towards the end of the lap, Clibbins has returned to the front of the field ahead of Adam Delmont whilst we're watching the battles going on behind. Can they swap again here? We've got Sharp just behind. Sharp goes to the outside. Delmont moves there as well. Clibbins on that inside, that tighter line. It's trying to get that line perfected for Druids, and this is what Delmont wants. He gets it to the inside now, up towards Druids. It's side by side for the lead, and Adam Delmont gets back past Nick Clibbins for the lead. Nick Clibbins, though, will stick it on the inside through Graham Hill Bend. Delmont having to run wide there in order to keep his speed and his momentum. Kieran Sharp punching Clibbins on the left-hand side of the circuit. Sharp trying to find a way through now. Can't do it, stuck on the outside into the final corners. And it remains Clibbins, Delmont and Sharp at this point. Jamie Dorey on the back end of Andrew Pike now. This is for 8th position, up towards the timing line, and across the timing line they go. And at the moment it's 8th, 9th and 10th for these drivers. Joy running onto the gravel ever so slightly there, invites Tom Davidson to potentially have a look up the inside. A swap here out at the lead, and Kieran Sharp is trying to take second away from Clibbons, cannot do it, and he falls back down the order into third position. But Sharp knows now that he can find this pace, he can do it, but this fighting has invited the train behind them. We've now got Mikey Doble, Twadok, Ultra and Isaac Doble all behind, and that was a swap in position, so Twadok got past Ultra, they swapped back again. Isaac Doble just behind now, trying to get involved. To the outside goes Adam Delmont, that wider line, trying to get the speed on the exit of Paddock Hill Bend. Gravel being kicked up there by Nick Clibbins, and it could invite Kieran Sharp to try and make the move. He can't do it. Mikey Doble, though, looks to the outside of Kieran Sharp and manages to hold on to fourth, but doesn't get up to third position right now for Doble in this train here. As that is Andrew Pike getting past. It looks like we've got Ben Oucher. Ben Oucher looking really slow here. So some issue there for Ben Oucher going on towards the midfield of the, well, to the back end of the top 10, I should say, not the midfield. My word, we've got a huge field, it's not the midfield at all. Back towards the front fight though, and Delmont to the outside, Clibbins to the inside. As tight as he can go here. Gravel from Delmont. Is this going to be Sharp looking up the inside again? No. But once again, Mikey Doble looking to the outside. Once again, a little bit of contact, letting Kieran Sharp, hey, I'm here. I'm involved in this one. Sharp, of course, wanting to get good results. He is leading the Pro Series at the moment. So this third place result will go a great way for him, but he will want more if he can get it. To come up towards 7 to go. Through the final turn now. They are all single file at the moment in this fight. As we jump just behind, this is Lee Horn. He's chasing down Gavin Gardiner for 13th place right now. 2/10 between them in their fight. Nick Clibbins, oh, and contact! As he just broke a little bit differently there. Kieran Sharp on straight into the back of Clibbins. That allows Twadok now to get up the inside on Mikey Doble into the Druids hairpin. Doble going to hold it around the outside. Is going to keep it there though, which means he can get to the inside. Through Graham Hillbound just behind as well. Doble and Pike running side by side, and Andrew Pike gets past Isaac Doble. Mikey Doble holds on to fourth position, but once again that fight has just allowed the top three to pull away just a little bit out front, but I'm sure that they'll continue fighting and re-invite the drivers behind in once more. Up towards the timing line they go. There they are. Side by side behind. Who is that with? That is Andrew Pike once more. This time Doble up, Pike's inside, and Doble gets that position regained for him as Isaac Doble moves into 6th position here. Ben Oucher hunting down the teammates Davison and Pike in 8th and 7th, just ahead, if he can do so. You can see some front end damage on Oucher's machine at the moment. As Kieran Sharp running around in 3rd position, still wanted to get ahead. Nick Clibbins was slightly sideways there, but does manage to hold it. We ride on board here with Kieran Sharp. He's to the inside of Nick Clibbins. He runs onto the grass, but Kieran Sharp gets to the inside of Nick Clibbins here. They run side by side up towards turn number 1. Clibbins is stuck on the outside through Paddock Hill Bend, and it's going to be the inside line through Druid for Sharp. It's going to be important, the exit. But Clibbins ducks in behind, goes defensive on Doble behind. So Nick Clibbins led the front half of this race down to 3rd now as Kieran Sharp up to 2nd. Adam Delmont out in the lead, but there's no way out in the clear. It is incredibly close in this fight right now. Jamie Dory and Nigel Stock. They sit in 10th and 11th right now. They're trying to get onto the back of the fight with Isaac Doble leading the train. They are closing on in that fight at the moment ahead of them. And this fight, about a second off of the leading battle right now, is it's another attempt from Mikey Doble up towards Paddock Hill, looking for that switch across up towards Druids now. Sticks behind at the moment and will remain in those positions. It is back markers allowing the next train of drivers through, which is why there was a little bit of side-by-side action, and there continues to be side-by-side action. Is back markers involved. We're going to be heading up to 3 to go this time around, and right now Delmont and Sharp are clear by about 0.6 of a second over Nick Clibbins behind. So Clibbins is going, oh, that's off the circuit. Was that a back marker? No, it was Clibbins. It was Nick Clibbins off the circuit through the final turn, has vacated third position as Doble moves up to third, now having to hold the position to create Twadok, but Twadok's got the inside and moves up into fourth overall, but Clibbins is coming back at it. This position matters to the Pro class. It does not matter to the Pro-Am class. But Twadok wants that position nonetheless. The bragging rights are what counts here. Gets to the inside. There is a minor bit of contact. Clibbins goes sideways and the boys go around. Clibbins, broken suspension. With 3 laps to go, Nick Clibbins, previous race leader, down and out. That was contact with Twadok. Twadok continues to lead the Pro-Am field, but only just ahead of Nigel Stock now. Stock could do something to try and get back in this. As we go on to the 17th lap of asking, Kieran Sharp looks for a way past Adam Delmont. Is he going to wait till the last lap to try and find a way through? Penalty for Tom Davidson. Through Druids here. This leading fight, if they fight though, it is going to invite Mikey Doble into the fight. Now of course, Kieran Sharp, Adam Delmont, Mikey Doble, all at the top of the pro standings. All at the top of this race now. Isaac Doble has found his way into fourth with all the issues ahead of him. Can Mikey Doble manage to pull a win out of this? Out of nowhere almost, as Adam Delmont continues to lead Kieran Sharp as we head around the final turn and we go onto the white flag lap. Is Kieran Sharp going to find a way through here? It's going to be pushing. He goes to the wider line. He doesn't get alongside, but he is going for the faster exit up towards Druids. This is what counts. Delmont knows that, goes defensive now. Kieran Sharp trying to hang in around the outside, won't be able to do it, looking to tuck it back in. It's all going to be about how he runs the end of this lap now. It's going to be extremely difficult to get past towards the timing line, but if he can just get a faster run out of the final turn and up towards the timing line, it could be something here. Twadok and Dory swapping positions in 7th and 8th, but we will watch the lead fight here as they come up towards the final turn. Through they go. Mikey Doble was able to close in, but it's not going to be enough because Adam Delmont takes another win in the series. He crosses the line first. Kieran Sharp takes home second, and Mikey Doble crosses the line in third position. A lot of drivers a lap down, finishing across the line as we watch the final few drivers cross the line here. But a great win for this man here. A great win for Adam Delmont. He won at Monza. He will win again here today around the Brands Hatch circuit. Adam Delmont finds his way to the front of the field to win race number 1. 2 more races heading your way, but before we get to that, let's have a look at our race results from here at race number 1 from Brands Hatch Indy. It was a win, of course, from Adam Delmont after the 18 laps here, but only just ahead of Kieran Sharp. Mikey Doble took home third place, with Isaac Doble coming home to benefit from the mistakes that are in front of him to take home fourth. Ben Oucher came home in 5th position with Andrew Pike in 6th. Craig Twadok came home overall in 7th, followed by Jamie Dory, Nigel Stock and Lee Horn. We then saw Josh Brown, Sean McGovern, and Phil McDougall finishing in 11th, 12th, and 13th. Adam Wilson were there in the pros in 14th, ahead of Matthew Cheverton. Mark Hughes finished in 16th, followed by Adrian Fritsch. Gavin Gardner in 18th, ahead of Wayne Douglas and Toby Cole. We then saw Mark Seitz, Alan McCain, Zara McGuinness, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, followed by Sam Smith, Craig Jones and Ian Manners, Andy Outhouse, Leslie Brazil, Carl Thompson and Sammy Ariba. Rounds out the top 30. Carl Thompson and Sammy Ariba are first drivers a lap down. Ariba, of course, with a jump start off the line. Back in the field was Nick Clibbins in 31st, ahead of William Kurtler. Issues for Clibbins, of course, with broken suspension right at the end of the race. William Kurtler took home that final position on the one lap down. Sean Connolly came home 2 laps down alongside Matt Gatta and James Parfitt. Michael Clough came home in 36th, ahead of Tom Davidson, and then out of the race was Lewis Delmont and Harry McGovern. What also matters is, of course, the Pro-Am top 10s, because these are the points that they'll be getting. So this is the top 10 results from the results here at Brands Hatch race number 1 for your Pro-Am drivers, with Twaddock taking the win in that category, ahead of Nigel Stock, Josh Brown and Sean McGovern. Phil McDougall took home 5th, ahead of Mark Hughes, Adrian Fritsch, Toby Cole, Mark Sykes and Alan McCain. They matter because the pros will take home their overall position points, whereas our Pro-Ams will take their class position points. So that's why we want to have a little look at them. But we are going to obviously be preparing ourselves for the second set of races, and we'll have a little bit of a look here to see if we're able, who would like to pull in off the back of those results. That's not what we want to pull in off the back of those results. Let's see if Adam Delmont's, actually our race winner there, is available for a quick chat. Let's have a look here if Adam's around. Hey Adam, can you hear me? It looks like we might not have Adam right at this moment. Winner, of course, from race number 1. Love to be able to have a chat with Adam, but we will see if we can catch up with Adam possibly a little bit later, maybe just before race number 1 if we're lucky, but hopefully we can catch up with Adam at some point through the next set of races, as we'll see then actually if possibly, just flicking around between all my different screens over here at the moment of who we might want to talk about. Let's see if we can get Wayne Douglas in here to talk with us. Wayne, can you hear us here in the commentary booth? I have to say, in the commentary booth today, we are not having the best of luck, that is certain, but hopefully we can catch some drivers. We will head off to our break, and what we'll do is hopefully before the start of race number 2, we will be able to pull some drivers across here and we'll be able to catch them in the next one. So we'll be back in just a moment's time. Don't go anywhere. Hello everybody and welcome back here to Brands Hatch Indy as we have got the second race coming your way. If you missed last week's event and you're not quite sure how this series goes, well, we've got 3 races coming your way, 2 races of about 15 minutes. That is 18 laps, of course, for the first 2 races here around the Brands Hatch Indy circuit. With the race grid here decided with the top 15 results from race number 1, they are going to be inverted. And race number 3, if drivers can stick on to the lead lap of the race, and I believe possibly even those 1 lap down will get a full invert. But I think it's only those on the lead lap. But that will be a full inverted grid on that one. So that's going to create some interesting racing then, of course, for the next 2 races coming up. So we've had the first race done and dusted, but it is going to be a great reversed grid for this one, with our race winner of Adam Delmont, of course, falling down to 15th place on the restart here. If we can, with just a couple minutes left, we are going to try for a second time to see if we can potentially have a quick word with Adam if he is around. Adam, can you hear us?
Yes, Joseph. Hi, how are you doing?
Doing well, thank you so much, Adam. A great win in race number 1, but it certainly didn't come easily. How did you find that?
Yeah, it was exciting, I must admit. You know, very tight. I think once I got in front, I just tried to get Kieran and Nick to maybe fight a little bit, just to give me a bit of breathing space. But yeah, sure close all the way to the finish. But, you know, when qualifying split by a second over 33, it's going to be close, right?
Indeed, it was an incredibly close qualifying session, and now we're not set by qualifying. Reverse grid from top 15. How are you feeling being in the mid-pack here?
I'm not too bad. I mean, obviously, we have got some questions over whether, you know, there's potential of a bit of rain to mix things up. And last night in practice in the wet, you know, I felt pretty good and pretty decent. So, yeah, it's as long as I can avoid any potential issues that arise in front, you know, I should be okay.
All right, well, good luck for race number 2, and hopefully it goes your way just like it did in the first one.
Nice one, thank you very much.
As that was race 1 number winner, Adam Delmont there, talking there. And as he mentioned, potential of some rain in the upcoming race. It certainly is. The next 2 races, there is a chance of rain coming your way. It is looking very dull out there. With 18 laps, anything can change within that about 15 minutes of competition. Warm-up, though, coming to a close here, which means drivers are going to get themselves gridded, and we are going to be able to talk you through the grid order for the second race of the day. Top 15 of the results from race number 1 have been reversed for this one. Let's get ourselves into our grid then, as drivers get themselves down. Let's talk through how this one is going to order themselves around, if it wants to show. There we go. Matthew Cheverton is going to take this one from the front of the field ahead of Adam Wilson-Weir. Wilson-Weir going to be doing his best to try and take advantage of this one. He was sitting 4th in the pro standings coming into this weekend, so hopefully he can get a good result in this invert that's placed him on the front row. Phil McDougall will start this one in 3rd overall, 1st in class, ahead of Sean McGovern. And then we got Josh Brown ahead of Lee Horn. Rest of your field coming through. We got Nigel Stock ahead of Jamie Dory there. We got Craig Twardock ahead of Andrew Pike. And Ben Oucher sitting ahead of Isaac Dobble in 12th position. 13th place will be for Mikey Dobble, and 14th will be for Kieran Sharp. Adam Delmont will be 15th ahead of Mark Hughes. Adrian Fish in 17th ahead of Gavin Gardner. 19th place will be Wayne Douglas ahead of Toby Cole. Mark Sykes will start in 21st position ahead of Elaine McCain. Zara McGuinness will start in 23rd ahead of Sam Smith. Reading the rest of your field is Craig Jones, Ian Manners, Outhouse, Brazil, Thompson and Ariba, who will be hoping not to get a jump start in this race. Clibbins from 31st ahead of Kurtler, Connolly, Gatter, Parfitts and Clough. And at the back of the field is Tom Davidson, Lewis Delmont and Harry McGovern. Let's have a look then as the field prepares themselves for this one and prepares themselves for a full 18 laps of racing once more. I was actually surprised with how many drivers managed to keep on the lead lap of that, and if they did go a lap down, only 1 lap down. It's an extremely short circuit here. We saw a number of drivers getting into incidents, getting into some issues, so to be so sensible really was quite good to see. But we are, I'm sure, going to see some more incidents happening in this one, especially as we've got that top 15 reverse. Let's get our timer, our lap count up. It's 18 laps on the clock. The lights are going to be going up. And lights out, and we are away here for race number 2. Adam Wilson-Weir straight away moves into the lead of the race on the outside. A poor launch from Matthew Cheverton also leaves him under attack on the outside here. As that's a slide and around for Phil McDougall. Cars having to avoid in the background. It looks like for the most part they have, as the drivers all head through and try to settle themselves down there, but it does look like most drivers managed to avoid the spinning McDougall there, who now moves to the back of the field. This is 3 wide in the mid-pack, battling for the top 10. Oucher is on the inside line here already. Front end damage, almost identical to the damage he picked up in race number 1. This is Doble and Delmont side by side right now. Adam Delmont, race 1 winner, started in 15th place, moved up to 8th place right now. This is side by side, Nigel Stock and Josh Brown. They're fighting it out for 5th position right now as they come across the line. It is going to be Stock on the inside of Brown. Brown holds it on the outside line. And Adam Delmont is going to be wanting to find his way back up the order. He moves to the inside now up towards Druid. A lot of gravel already thrown onto the circuit, out to Paddock Hill Bend and through Druids right now. Delmont moves in to 7th place. A great second race start for him in this inverted grid that placed him in 15th place. Matthew Cheverton, a slow launch off the line, losing position to Wilson-Weir, and another slide, and this time from Cheverton. He's onto the gravel. Will need to find his way on. He's on the outside line. Everyone avoids him as Cheverton falls down the order there. But it is Adam Wilson-Weir leading the way, and cleanly now. Sean McGovern fighting with Craig Twardock now. These are the Pro-Am drivers. So Twardock winning the Pro-Am in race number 1, looking to try and take the win here in race number 2. Adam Delmont has obviously also moved past Cheverton here, now up to 6th position overall, and the 2nd place in class. Not that class positions matter too much, as there are issues up towards Druids as we go 5 wide. That's never going to work out. Huge accident. A huge accident there as Ian Manners and Tom Davidson caught in that one. But yeah, huge accident as this is a fight for 2nd. Craig Twardock looks up the inside of Sean McGovern. Twardock wants to take back-to-back victories in the Pro-Am class if he can. He's to the inside of McGovern now and moves through to take 2nd place, and a 2nd gap for Adam Wilson-Weir out front right now as Isaac Doble gets past Nigel Stock. Stock's already lost the position to Adam Delmont, and looking like he might lose the position to Andrew Pike as well. Pike up the inside. Could Ben Oucher follow him through as well? Oucher stuck on the outside line here. Stock is going to back out though. Stock moves to 9th position down the order right now, but Sean McGovern moves out to 3rd overall, 2nd in class, as Craig Twardock regains the lead in class here. What's not just impressed about regaining the lead in class is the fact that Craig Twardock here has gained 4 positions in this race from his class positions, but overall he's gained even more. It's phenomenal. Changes for 4th. For 5th, as Isaac Doble gets up the inside of Adam Delmont. They now fight it out. Delmont, of course, wanting to find his way towards the front of the field, now needing to follow Doble for the moment. Will he be able to do anything on this part of the lap? Now you can see just how much of a good job that Adam Delmont has done here, because Mikey Doble finishing on that podium in race number 1, still stuck in 12th position at the moment. Nick Clibbins down in 20th, trying to recover from going out of the race right at the end of race number 1 with broken suspension. Kieran Sharp finished race number 1 in second. He's 9th right now. Will be wanting to try and catch up towards Oucher, and with a purple lap to boot last lap, he is certainly finding the speed out there. Poirot, fast man on track that lap, however, as he closes the gap to Wilson Weir down to just half a second. So Craig Poirot leading the Pro-Am category and looking to get up towards the pros. Of course, the drivers can be switched classes up until the end of the 3rd event. So up until the end of next week's event, which means that we could see some potential changes in classes. Poirot might be one of the drivers that has pulled up into the pro category, because he has been dominating the Pro-Am field at the moment. As you can see, he is hunting down Adam Wilson-Weir for the win here at Brands Hatch as well. Across the timing line they go. Poirot moves to the left-hand side. Wilson-Weir holds the inside line right now, but look at the speed that Poirot is able to carry on the outside. He switches it back to the inside, up towards Druids. Wilson-Weir does not go defensive, and Poirot just gets that line through and moves up into the lead of the race. Changes behind once more, and this is side by side between Adam Delmont and Josh Brown. Contact. Isaac Doble has already dispatched Brown here and is hunting his way up towards Adam Wilson-Weir and Craig Poirot. Delmont currently just stuck behind Josh Brown at the moment. In fact, he's fallen off of Brown a little bit. He's got Outra all over his rear end at the current stage as well. Up through the final turn, up towards the timing line they go. It looks like Wilson-Weir could possibly be lining himself up for an attack back on Poirot. Kieran Sharp once again putting in a purple lap time in his attempt to regain positions lost in race number 1 with the late contact. This is Jamie Dory. He's behind Wayne Douglas and Mikey Doble. They are incredibly close right now in their fights for 11th position. They are able to do anything. These drivers were running together in practice as well, and in qualifying, trying to get in some laps. But right now, they're just staying in order. But that is rain! I saw it! Spots of rain, and already that is water being kicked up here. Rain is out. Some drivers debating at the beginning of the race to go onto wet tyres, and they have. Sam Smith and Nick Clibbins are on wet tyres here. They are on wet tyres, and they will be looking to find their way up the order. In fact, let's get our tyre compound up and available for you in these wet conditions. There you go. There are our compounds of what tyre drivers are running. You can see top 15 all on dry compound right now, as Sean McGovern on the outside of Wilson-Weir here. So Wilson-Weir losing his momentum at the front. Isaac Doble just behind, looking to take the lead in the pro class, looking to take 3rd overall, possibly 4th, but there is the rain. It is getting heavier here. We're only halfway through this race. The rain is getting heavy, and we go 3 wide. Up towards Druids, Doble on the inside, Wilson-Weir backs out of it. Sean McGovern leads this train for 2nd position. Adam Delmont has dispatched Josh Brown and will now need to close up. So, the wet compound drivers, Sam Smith, Nick Clibbins, watch an eye on them. It's going to be interesting to see what they do, as that was Adam Delmont off the circuit, bumping around on the outside of Graham Hill Bend. He falls down to 10th after a great start to the race. He's fallen down with a mistake. Kieran Sharp is up to 7th. So he is doing a great job right now with his recovery. Adam Wilson-Weir, though, on the rear end of Isaac Doble. Doble obviously getting through. Doble now needs to get past the 2 Pro-Am drives in front if he wants to take the win here. Isaac Doble was in the chance of potentially taking the win at Monza. Went around at the Lesmos. Can he potentially take the win here today? Rain lights come on. All the lights on these cars flicking on as the conditions worsen around the Brands Hatch circuit. Rain coming down heavily now. We ride on board with the man in third, Isaac Doble, to see what he can potentially do. And I think I've got audio levels all incorrect for this race, but they might be good, I don't know. But we come through the final turn, different racing lines in the wet here. What a driver is going to be able to do? Surely pitting is not going to be the call here, because it would take you too long to get the wet tyres on. You've got to brave it out on these dry compounder tyres. Are we going to see the drivers on wet benefiting, however, from the wet compounder tyres as McGovern gets past Quaddock into Paddock Hill Bend, swaps back in position though as McGovern runs off the circuit. Doble saying, oh yes, thank you very much, I'll take full advantage of that. Looks to the inside of Jewett, can't quite do it at the moment, but he knows that he can find a way through. And just behind that is Outria to the inside of Josh Brown. Brown goes sideways and around. Goes Adam Wilson Weir up ahead. Changes in position there. As Doble looks to get past McGovern, that's a wobble from Quaddock in the lead of the race and a big slide. These conditions now are not for the wet. Not for the dry tyres, sorry. The wets are going to come into their own. As this is side by side for second, Doble on the outside of Sean McGovern. It's dangerous now for all the drivers on dry tyres. A lot of drivers have visited pit lane to put on wet. Not those out front. No, as that's off the circuit goes McGovern. He keeps it facing the right way. He loses a position to Doble and to Outria. He remains second in class. Contact to the rear end of Outria there. They are all through. Clibbons has made his way up into 10th position right now. These wet compounder tyres are going to be in his way completely. Clibbons taken out of the lead fight in race number 1. And as around goes another driver, I think that's Josh Brown behind, possibly. No, he's ahead. Side by side off the circuit, just ahead there of Nick Clibbons. But Clibbons has got the speed on these tyres. A fight for the lead. Outria and Doble have found their way past. I say they found their way past. I don't know where our leader went. Possibly down pit lane. But this is side by side on the outside for Outria. A little bit of contact on the outside from Doble. Wobbling the back end. Here comes Kieran Sharp. He got a podium in race 1. Can he do the same in race number 2? It's 3 wide. Through Jewett hairpin, and that's a slide from Isaac Doble. It's Monza all over again. And now he has to wait. And now he has to wait. Where does he go? What does he do? And finally he can get himself going. But Kieran Sharp leads the way with a mistake from Outria moving down to second. But here comes Nick Clibbons in the wet tyres. 4 laps to go when they cross the line this time by. There's contact for Clibbons. Clibbons and McGovern come together, a huge smash behind. And I think that was Sam Smith. It was Sam Smith who went up and over into the air. Josh Brown here trying to get to the inside of Quaddock. This is the lead of the Pro-Am field. Josh Brown regains the lead, but he goes too hard, too fast. Holds the slide, recovers it, but through goes Nick Clibbons. Clibbons up to 5th now. The decisions go on to wet tyres, working out wholeheartedly right now for Nick Clibbons. Sam Smith is also on the wet compounder tyres, but with damage now, that won't affect him too much in these Mazdas. Ben Outria back into the lead of the race following a mistake from Sharp. He's gone off somewhere, but you can just see how much these cars are going off the circuit, especially those on the wet, the dry compounder tyres. Our 2 leaders on the dry. Nick Clibbons is in 3rd now. We come to 3 to go. Clibbons is just behind. At this point, pitting will lose them too much time, but how much more time are they going to lose staying out there on the dry tyres? They are leading the way right now, Outria and Sharp, on the dry compounder tyres. But that was a back mark off the circuit. But here comes Nick Clibbons. He's behind Kieran Sharp. That's Outria into the gravel, and they're from the lead of the race. onto the hairpin, and Clibbons gets to the inside of Kieran Sharp. There's no fight needed there. The wet tyres coming through. Sam Smith on the wet tyres. Is it teammates? It's teammates. Nick Clibbons and Sam Smith, teammates here. Both going for the wet tyre strategy, and both of them are going to win races. Nick Clibbons winning the overall race. Sam Smith going to win the Pro-Am race if they can both keep it on track. As Kieran Sharp does not keep it on track, he goes around from third position. Oucher moves back to third. What is Oucher going to do here? Pit lane? No pit lane. No pit lane for Ben Oucher, third in the race. Sharp stays out as well. The dry tyres, there's no point now. 2 laps to go. There's absolutely no point in coming down pit lane and pitting for wet tyres. Mikey Doble, he is on dry tyres right now and using his real-world BTCC skills to help him out in this virtual race around the Brands Hatch circuit. But it's not going the way that anyone thought with these dry tyres. It's incredibly challenging. Getting those wet tyres on was the choice to make, and having them on from the start of the race was the ultimate best decision. A slide there from Kieran Sharp, but he gets it back straight. You can just see the speed difference between those on the wets and those on the dries. It is unreal. Altria, though, is still out there on dry tyres. Has Gavin Gardner just behind. He moves to the left-hand side. Surely he's not going to fight Gardner up towards the white flag lap. He's going defensive in his dry tyres. So only so much you can do, though, is through the puddles. Another car off at turn number 1 and around. Not one of our leaders, though. But after. Slide, drift in, holding it. As Dory goes through to 4th as well. A huge change in positions, but after getting taken out of the race, towards the end of race number 1 from the fight for the lead, Nick Clibbons takes it back here in race 2 and will take the win. Sam Smith comes across the line to take home 2nd. 3rd will go Jamie Dory's way, who takes 3rd over Gavin Gardner. But Ben Oucher is still there on dries. Driver behind him, though, is also on dries. That's Kieran Sharp. Oucher now just trying to get to the lines. A huge slide. Up towards the timing line they go as drivers come to finish this one. What on earth has gone on with Adam Wilson-Weirs? How can he see as he gets past Mikey Doble? Somehow, Adam Wilson-Weir here, this is his view. He's able to take home 10th place, 11th, no, I don't know, 10th place. It keeps on jumping. I think he's got 10th place in this race, but that's his view across the line. I don't know how he's quite managed that feat, but that absolutely incredible race here for race number 2 around the Brands Hatch Indy circuit. Let's get our full results from that one then. We will start, as always, with everyone involved in this. Let's get our results from race number 2 here. Nick Clibbons with the choice of the race, using the wet compactor tyres from the start of the race, just powered through once the rain started to fall, followed by the teammate Sam Smith, slowing down on the line there to have a formation finish between the teammates, but winning both of the categories there. I've been told that Wilson-Weir races in a VR. Yep, head stuck out of the window indeed to try and get that one across the line. Fortunately, managed to do so, but it was Jamie Dory taking the final podium position in that race ahead of Gavin Gardner. And the first of our dry compound tyres, it was Ben Outra, who finished home in 5th position, followed by Kieran Sharp. Alan McCain took home 7th overall ahead of Josh Brown, followed by Adam Delmont, our race 1 winner, and Adam Wilson-Weir. Then 11th on the grid, 11th in the race, was Mikey Doble, followed by Nigel Stock and Andrew Pike. Lewis Delmont took home 14th ahead of James Parfitt. Isaac Doble and Toby Cole. Lee Horn will finish in 18th position, ahead of Carl Thompson and Mark Sykes, rounding out your top 20. Mark Hughes finished that one in 21st, ahead of Wayne Douglas, Michael Clough, Sean Connolly, Sean McGovern, then 2 laps down Masaru McGuinness, Andy Outhouse, Leslie Brazil, Craig Twardock, 2 laps down in the end after potentially taking 2 wins in the Pro-Am class. He won't see that through here. William Kirtler took home 30th in that one. 31st was Matt Gatter, followed by McDougall and Cheverton. Then it was Fuchs, McGovern, Ariba, Banners, Davison and Jones all out of the race of that one. But that was race number 2 over and done with. Let's finally have a little look at our top 10 from our Pro-Am category, because they are the points that they are going to get. The pros getting their overall points, the Pro-Ams getting their class points. Sam Smith will take full points out of this one ahead of Alan McCain. Josh Brown will take home 3rd in class out of Nigel Stock and James Parfitt. Then it was Toby Cole, Carl Thompson, Mark Sykes, Mark Hughes and Sean Connolly. They were your top 10 in the Pro-Am class. Right, let's see if who we have available at this point to have a quick word with and see if we can catch up with anyone that I would like to catch up with from that one. Someone possibly that we haven't spoken to yet. Let's see if Gavin Gardner is around for a tool. Are you there, Gavin?
Hello?
Oh, hello, Gavin there. I was just going to say that amazing choice being on the wet tyres there. Pulled you up into 4th overall. How did you find that race?
Oh, yeah, it was it was an interesting one. I think I've not raced these cars too much. I sort of joined today, first time joining for a while, so I wasn't too confident in them. And seeing the rain coming in on the radar, I thought let's stick the wets on, because I'm struggling to keep it on the track in the dry. If it starts raining and I'm in slicks, I'm going to be in the wall. So yeah, I went for the wets, and yeah, seemed to work out nicely.
That's a great strategy call to make, pulling you all the way up the field. We just saw the change in conditions and the dries going off the circuit. Obviously, it's going to be a reverse grid. Are you feeling like you might be able to make your way back through? First time in the cars in a while, you said. But do you think now you've got that bit more confidence after that race?
Yeah, a bit more confidence. So I think it'll probably take a few races to get properly up to speed, but yeah, I'm up for a good full reverse grid. Yeah, see what happens, and yeah, maybe hopefully a bit more rain.
Well, good luck for race number 3, and have good fun in that one.
Cheers, thank you.
And finally, we'll see if we can get the first driver to cross the line in the dry compounder tyres, staying out on dries all the way to the end. Ben, are you there?
Yes, mate.
Interesting choice to make. Now, obviously, it got to the point where it was probably too late in the race to dive down for wet tyres. What were your thoughts during that one?
Unfortunately, I second-guessed myself on like lap 12 or 13, where it would have been possible. I thought, nah, it's going to take too long to get the wets. By the time I'm come out and got them up to temp, it'll basically be finished and the track won't be all that much wetter. 3 laps later, where it's probably too late to take wets, I'm thinking, this was a mistake.
Okay, so just looking there at Paddock Hill Bend and seeing what is a swimming pool at the bottom of that now.
Yeah, sideways through Paddock Hill, probably every lap for the last 4 laps was definitely not the fastest way to go through Paddock Hill.
Do you think that out of that one, you would have, if you did decide to pit when it became really heavy, that you would have been able to work your way back up, or do you think that actually 5th, that's a good result, all things considered?
5th is a solid result. I'm not too upset with that, to be honest. The only way I could have done better is if I'd have started on wets. If I'd have swapped 2 wets, I think I would have still finished further back than 5th.
So overall, a choice that was well made in the moment, and a great result, though, coming off the back of that one. And best of luck for the full reverse grid for race number 3.
Thank you very much, mate.
And we will be back for the third and final race of the day in just a moment's time, so don't go anywhere. I hope you are enjoying yourselves, I certainly am. If you're watching over on the YouTube channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. If you're watching over on Facebook, hit that like button and share it with your friends. And if you're watching over on the Twitch, then be sure to hit that follow button. And therefore, you won't miss any of the amazing races that go live on all of those channels all of the time. Right, race number 3 is heading your way in just a moment's time. what a great view to switch across to there as we get to our live camera angles. A car spinning its way, and I think it shows you how tricky those conditions remain around Brands Hatch here. The rain is continuing to fall. It is just slightly wet at the moment, but we saw how quickly the Brands Hatch circuit can fill up with water, especially down here at Paddock Hill Bend. Just turns into an absolute pool. So we are hoping that our drivers are all going to be on the wet compounder tyres in this final race of the day. It would be a strange call to go onto the dry compounder tyres. We saw that actually you don't lose too much time sitting on the wets in the dry conditions. However, you do lose a lot of time being on the dries in the wet conditions. Ultimately, the way around you want to be is on the wet compounder tyres. The grid is going to prepare itself for a moment, though, as we have got our reversed grid for our final race of the day. Just a reminder, our third and final race longer than the other ones, and it is going to be 24 laps of asking here for the third race, as the session actually dries up going into the race here. Interesting, no weather, no rain at the moment. However, we could see some rain continuing to fall in a moment's time. Let's have a look at how this grid is going to line up. Then we got Sean Connolly out front ahead of Michael Clough. Then it's Wayne Douglas ahead of Mark Hughes and Mark Sykes in fifth. Carl Thompson takes home sixth position. Seventh will be gridded up for Lee Horn ahead of Toby Cole. Isaac Doble will take home ninth ahead of James Parfitt. Lewis Delmont will start 11th. Head of Andrew Pike. Nigel Stock in 13th. Michael Doble in 14th. Adam Wilson-Rear will start in 15th. Head of Adam Delmont. Josh Brown will start 17th. Head of Alan McCain in 18th. Kieran Sharp will take 19th. Head of Ben Oucher in 20th. Gavin Gardner will start 21st. Head of Jamie Dory in 22nd. 23rd is for Sam Smith ahead of Nick Clibbins in 24th. With this full reverse grid, of course, drivers who are lap down maximum. He will start in 24th, so that is where our reverse grid ends. Sean McGovern will start 25th, where he finished the last race ahead of Zara McGuinness. Andy Houdhouse will take 27th, ahead of Leslie Brazil. Craig Twardock takes home will start in 29th, ahead of William Kurt. The 30th verse will be for Matt Gatter, ahead of Phil McDougall. 33rd will be for Matthew Sheverton, and 34th for Adrian Fish. 35th position will be Harry McGovern, ahead of Sammy Arabia with 36th, and Craig Jones will take home 37th and last in this grid order. We prepare ourselves, though, for the final race of the day, and it is going to be Sean Connolly starting this one from the front of the field ahead of Michael Clough. Wayne Douglas will start third just behind. 24 laps of asking. I am looking at the tyres. Wayne Douglas, James Parfitt, Lewis Delmont, Ben Outria, Andy Outhouse, Matt Gatter, Matthew Sheverton, Adrian Fritsch, all on dry tyres. Everyone else on the wets. We will get that up again for you for this race as our lights are going to prepare ourselves for the first lap of asking here. Around 24, we are green and we are away. Clibbins off the line with a jump start. Race 2 winner is going to have to visit pit lane. A great launch off of the line there, not from our race leader, but in fact, as I try to get my timing screen sorted, there's already a wreck in the background. Hugh Jackson, that's Ben Oucher involved back there. Huge wreck in the background, a huge wreck coming down Paddock Hill Bend. More cars spinning out front, but right now we will get back to that wreck in a moment's time. Possibly at the end of the race, we might have to wait to. More cars off of the circuit as they just try to settle themselves down. Michael Clough is leading the way at the moment in the front of the field ahead of Toby Cole. Sean Connolly in third position side by side. At the moment, Lee Horn and Isaac Doble in fourth and fifth position. Doble's to the inside of Lee Horn here. If he can just tuck out the inside, he certainly can. He's going to tuck out the inside of Sean Connolly as well. Doble gets into third position. Doble spinning, of course, from a great position in race number 2. Before all of those during those wet conditions, he was on dry tyres when he went around. But it is now Carl Thompson trying to have a look on Lee Horn as well up the inside. Can it turn into a move up the inside? Sean Connolly, number 14. Connolly tried to tuck it in there. It certainly wasn't clear. It's 3 wide on the exit of Paddock Hill Bend. Now more contact in the background and a huge wreck. And that's Lewis Delmont, I believe, possibly. there. Huge wreck with Wayne Douglas as well off the circuit. Mark Sykes as well. Possibly having... that was Mark Sykes who was into the wall at the end of Paddock Hill Bend. This is a fight for the lead, though. It is Toby Cole going past Michael Clough. Cole on the outside. It turns to the inside line, and Toby Cole now leads the way. As you can see, actually, the wet compound tyre here, the better compound to be on, because the surface is still wet. There's no rain right now, but the surface is still wet. As we head up towards the timing line, it's going to be Doble looking for his way towards the front of the field right now. They're going really slowly through these corners. That's how wet it is out there. It is safety car. It is safety car. That's why after that huge lap, I don't have race control in my ear this week like I did last week, so I missed that. But after that first wreck, I am not surprised. A huge safety car needing off that. Sorry, a safety car needing off that huge wreck. That is for sure. Let's see if I can, if it stops flicking up with new events, if I can scroll down to the lap 1 accident. A lot happened. I'm trying to scroll all the way back to lap number 1 to see if we can figure out what happened in that one. Race number 1, lap number 1. I'm still scrolling, by the way. This is huge. Can I just scroll all the way to the bottom? And let's filter everything. Go away. I only want the crashes. I'm trying to see if we can find our way back to the front here to find out what happened to the start of this safety car. It would be quite a short safety car, I feel, under this one, because it's such a short lap. But we're going to give it a go anyway. Most drivers out front and on those wet tyres, those dry tyres not going the way that those the drivers wanted. Here's how the wreck played out into turn number 1, though. It's a spin ahead, cars to the left, and a huge one. That's Altua involved. Let's see if we can find Altua here and get another replay on Altua. And just caught up, a massive wreck on the outside line there. There's more cars just getting involved in the background. Not sure why we're still getting those flickering cars. I literally don't know what the issue is with that one. There was obviously another spin just a little further up in all of that. If we can get a view, potentially it was a spin up towards the and there it is just up ahead in all of that. So yeah, a lot of things going wrong there, bringing the safety car out, but we are under the safety car at the moment, and we will see when he comes off. It is a short lap, so we're going to get a couple additional laps. However, I feel like we've done quite well here. After we saw the safety car in all 3 races last week at Monza, it has found its first appearance out here today at Brands Hatch. Toby Cole leads the way ahead of Isaac Doble and Michael Clough. They're your top 3 in the race at the moment. Your Pro-Am leaders are Toby Cole, Carl Thompson and Sean Connolly. Connolly starting from pole position, as you can just see how much gravel has been kicked up onto the circuit there. We are riding off on the back end of the safety car at the moment, running around at the back of the field. Well, sorry, they're running out the front of the field, sorry, leading the entire field of drivers around the circuit. Through Graham Hill Bend. Toby Cole will be thinking right now, how do I get myself started for this one? Because we are going to be getting ourselves started this lap. Safety car is going to be in this lap. Toby Cole is going to be leading the way. And that circuit, they are running at lower speeds, but it is looking drier here. Could we see a dry segment by the end of it? Again, I don't think the dry compounded tyres are going to play out in the same way and have as much of a benefit as we saw the wet compounded tyres have in race number 1. However, we come out of the final turn. Toby Cole is the man to pull us away, and he launches. Isaac Doble is going to keep up with him. So does Michael Clough, but Carl Thompson caught sleeping there in 4th position. He leads the next train of drivers across the line, and here comes Adam Delmont, race 1 winner, on the outside of Lee Horn to try and find a way through up into 6th position. Can't do it at the moment. Delmont's just going to have to hold on behind right now. as that is Horn looking up the inside of Thompson just up ahead. So they are running side by side at the moment. Certainly heard some contact going on behind. That's Jamie Dory trying to get to the inside as well. Dory to the inside of Dalmont. Dalmont, once again, he's looking to try and move up the order after winning race number 1. Can he come back to win race number 3? At the moment, sitting in 7th position. Driver who has had a lot of trouble since race number 1 is Mikey Doble. He sits 15th, not able to move up the order at the moment. Side by side here with the 66 machine, but I believe that he is a lap down, and onto the grass goes Adam Dalmont. He's going to lose time doing that, and through goes Kieran Sharp on the inside, and I believe he also lost out to Carl Thompson as well on the outside, but Dalmont trying to hold it now side by side with Sharp up towards Druids. He's stuck on the outside line. It can work out though if you've got a good amount of pace. There's a tiny touch, and Dalmont holds it on the outside line from behind. A great recovery overtake there. Lee Horn has moved up to 4th position in this one, and Isaac Doble has moved into the lead of the race. With everything going on, it's just so hard to keep up with every single overtake out there on the track, as we now watch a battle. The driver just disappears actually. We were watching a battle, McCain going wide, and here comes the rain. So drivers that have decided to stick on dry tyres, Wayne Douglas, Sean McGovern, who are already down the order, those dry tyres not the way to go. These wet tyres were the way to go here. Lee Horn goes to the outside of Michael Clough here. Through turn number 1 is sideways to Clough. He holds it, however, but he does lose the position to Lee Horn. But Clough is now also going to have to give up the position to Jamie Doyle, but he is facing the right way, which is exactly what he would want. But he has just lost 2 positions, of course, but he isn't going to want. Different racing lines there from Lee Horn and Jamie Doyle. What is now the battle for 3rd here. Isaac Doble, can he take that win that has eluded him so far this season? Side by side, Lee Horn and Jamie Doyle. Jamie Doyle stuck on the outside line now as we head through the final 2 turns. It's a long way around, but you can carry more speed and you can get a good exit here and get your car ahead, as that's contact between Clough and Dalmont. Dalmont does make that position. That overtakes stick though, moves up into 5th position, and Kieran Sharp gets past as well. So Dalmont now up to 5th in his potential recovery for a 2nd win. Up towards a hairpin, that was a slide from Clough through turn number 1. In fact, that's going to invite Pike and Thompson in for a fight. Thompson gets the inside, Pike has to stick behind for the moment, but will look to try and get to the inside of Graham Hill. Ben can't do it, has to tuck behind at the current stage in the race as we head up towards the 10th lap of asking out of 20 for 6 more laps than what we saw in the first 2 races. Toby Cole is not letting Isaac Doble get away from him at the front, as Oucher's day goes from bad to worse with the choice of dry compound tyres at the start of the race. He is going to be down. Now Toby Cole reappears. I was about to say, we look like we have lost Toby Cole. We do not. Like I say, he's keeping Isaac Doble honest here out at the front of the field. 8/10 of a second down to Jamie Dory. Is then Adam Dalmont in 4th position, because Lee Horn has gone off somewhere to lose that position. Andrew Pike moves up the inside of Carl Thompson and now takes 7th position overall in this race. James Parfitt's down in 26th place right now, just trying to recover, but he is close to Matt Gatter. Could get into 25th position overall if he continues at this rate. Just trying to recover on those wet compounded tyres. He has lost a couple of positions since the start, but he has been doing a great job. This is side by side now, as it's Clough up the inside. Down the outside of Thompson, and Thompson holds on that position. No, it's Twardock. We're looking at Twardock. Twardock here, trying to get back on Clough. That's what happened. It was Clough up the inside of Twardock. And now Twardock goes to the outside of Clough here, up towards turn number 1 as Clements goes purple. Is the fastest man out there. He is just behind this fight that is going on right now, and around goes. Who was that one? I believe it might have been, I'm still trying to figure out who that was. It might have been a driver lap down, actually. because none of our drivers at the top fell down the order, so giving a driver a lap down there, possibly Lewis Delmont heading around as we just saw a driver going onto the grass in the background. Nick Clibbins gets past the fight between Clough. Clough moving down behind McCain now as well, actually. But this is Jamie Dory. Dory was looking for the win at Monza. Could have potentially gotten it, but the races just didn't go his way. Race 3 here has turned into a potential Jamie Dory win. Isaac Doble will want the win. Jamie Dory will win the win. Toby Cole is looking to get the best position he can get. And Adam Delman will want to get back to the front here to take yet another victory in the season and to take his second in the same weekend. We head up now towards Graham Hill Bend as Dory and Delmont have both dispatched Cole through the start of this 12th lap of asking. And a round off the circuit, that was Lee Horn. Lee Horn off a Graham Hill Bend will fall down the order as he tries to get back onto the racing surface. As Isaac Doble leads the way ahead of Dory and Delmont. Cole 4 turns behind, and then Kieran Sharp wants to get in there as well. Sharp in the podium in race number 1. The wet conditions not allowing that to be the case for race number 2, but wants to be back there again for race number 3. Doble saying, I see you behind me, Dory, I see you behind me, Delmont, but I'm putting in the best laps that I can possibly put in at the moment, and he is looking to run some fast laps. But Clibbins does go purple on that lap before. Time lost at turn number 1 though for Isaac Dory. For Isaac Doble, I'm combining Dory and Doble constantly. They can now be brothers as well, because that way I only have to remember one last name. But it is Isaac Doble leading the way ahead of Jamie Dory. At the moment that gap has closed down. It was about 9/10 of a second at the end of last lap. It's down to 3/10 of a second this lap. Jamie Dory responding to the purple from Doble. Doble going wrong, and now under attack here as we go on to the 14th lap of asking. 11 to go across the timing line. Isaac Doble ahead of Jamie Dory, ahead of Adam Delmont, up towards turn number 1. Dory looks to the inside of Doble, can't do it, has to stick behind, but now Doble knows Dory's there. He's looking for the position. Doble goes tight up towards the hairpin, but only at the very last possible moment there. Not going too early. I believe that's McGuinness moving out of the way wide through the Duratap, and a slide from Dory, but he holds it. Going for the Gymkhana style points. He holds the slide, but Adam Delmont takes a full advantage of the slide there and moves through into the second place slot, and the challenging position from Isaac Doble if he can do it. Up towards the timing line now to go on to the 15th lap. Isaac Doble leading Delmont by 7/10, leading Dory by 3/10. There is, no, that's back markers in the background. They are looking at the gaps here. This fight, this 4-car fight for the lead that goes down to Kieran Sharp, is the closest collection of cars all the way around the circuit. That being said, Andrew Pike has just spun at turn number 1, and it's just catching the curb on the exit there for Pike, and he goes around. He has found it facing the right way now. Dory, what is he going to do? Is he going to attack back on Delmont, or is he going to push Delmont to try and get them into a 3-car fight for the lead? Kieran Sharp, how is he going to play this one? Back in 4th position, trying to get involved with any sort of battling that might go on ahead. Come to 9 laps to go now. 9 laps to go as they come across the line. Back markers are all doing a fantastic job in staying out of the way of the drivers coming through in the lead of this fight. Doble went purple. Delmont then beats him to that purple. Delmont pushing hard. Dory's not dropping off the back though. Sharp is about a second off now this fight. But Dory is not backing off the rear of Delmont. Delmont not backing off the rear of Doble. Come towards the last 2 laps of this race, we could see a fight, a sideways moment for Doble on the exit of the Graham Hill Bend. No rain at the moment. The circuit's still being lightly wet. It is drying out. but they're all going to stay on their wet compounder tyres, so everyone on an equal level here. A good final sector there from Jamie Dory. You saw him splash through the grass, and it was a splash through the grass, kicking up the puddles, forming at the edge of the circuit through the curbing. Dory has closed back up to 2/10 off the rear end of Delmont here. Now he needs to make a choice. Help Delmont towards the lead or go for second. What choice is he going to make here? Through Stuart Hairpin, there was certainly someone hitting a barrier nearby. Not too sure who it was. That was sideways from Delmont. The same place Dory went sideways. Dory gets sideways on the exit. But Dory does not look towards the inside. He doesn't quite get the speed. And he's going to stick behind at the moment, not looking for any alternate lines either. I think that Jamie Dory is potentially going to try and work with Delmont here to catch up with Doble and not lose off of Doble, so that they're able to take a potential victory here. Like I say, Doble and Dory both looking for the first wins of the season. Delmont looking for what I believe is his third. I need to include the stats written down somewhere. Up towards Stuart Hairpin here as Clibbens goes purple, still finding time, looking to return to a top 5 if he can get past Toby Cole, the leading Pro-Am driver. Different lines here, and you can see just how dry this circuit has now become after the start of this race. We'll cross the line, there'll be 6 more to go. Kieran Sharp has by no means exited this fight as we ride on board with him. You can see the 3 leading cars just up ahead of him here. As we look off the back of Isaac Doble to the drivers chasing behind. Coming across the line now, it'll be 6 laps to go. Isaac Doble leading this train of drivers. Adam Delmont in second, Nick Clibbens there, making the pass up the inside of Toby Cole. Clibbens up to 5th, only 1.5 seconds back now. It'll be a hard ask for him to get involved in the fight for the lead, but if the leading drivers do fight and battle, Clibbens could very much be back in it here, so it's not over for him. Dory all over the rear of Delmont, all over the rear of Doble here. The leading 3 drivers are separated by just a piece of paper, covering the 3 of them right now. Up towards the final turn they go. Dory backed out a little bit there. Delmont to the outside, looking for the speed on the exit. Can Adam Delmont take a second win of the evening? Or will Isaac Doble find his way to the front for the first time this season? Will Jamie Dory find his way to for the first time this season? We go through turn number 1. The fight for the lead is these 3 drivers. Kieran Sharp just half a second behind, but was that contact with Sharp? Was that a mistake with Sharp? Sharp has gone off and Nick Clibbens makes a move through. Let's see if we can get a quick replay there. It's a slide. It is a slide, and no, that's from Clibbens. What happened to Sharp? Once again, it's Clibbens. Where's Sharp? Sharp's already off at that point. As I'm watching the gap between the lead, don't worry, it's not changed at the moment, and it was contact. It was contact. A slide from the back marker got Kieran Sharp involved in that one. I don't think that was anyone's fault. It was just unfortunate racing accident, but here we go. Lap 21 of the race, 4 to go. Is Delmont going to make the move for the lead now? Looks to the outside, dives to the inside. Isaac Doble's got it covered though. A slide in the front. Doble's got it covered ahead of Delmont. Dory just behind this one. Comes through the hairpin. They remain single file right now, with Doble has pulled just a little bit of a gap right now out front. That's what he needs to be safe, but he slides it. Delmont by no means is letting him get away. Is Dory going to push, or is Dory going to fight? We ride on board once more with Jamie Dory here. Nick Clibbens 2 seconds back from this fight. If they fight in the front here, he could get invited into it, but I don't think he's going to get there on pure pace right now. Clibbens, looking at it, did actually visit pit lane this race. Believe that was under the safety car to get the wet compounder tyres on. and to repair some damage most likely as well. Through turn number 1, down Paddock Hill Bend. Rear of the cars still just sticking out, but will Dory go for it? Yes, he does. Dory looks to the inside of Delmont, but Delmont's got it covered right now. If they fight, it will give Doble the chance to pull away. But at the same time, Dory's not going to want this taking. Big slide there. He's not going to want to take this lying down that for sure, but a huge slide from Dory is going to knock him 7/10 back. Gives Delmont a little bit of breathing space now to focus on Isaac Doble as we go on to the penultimate lap of the race. 2 to go when they cross the line here. Isaac Doble leading the way right now. 3.5 tenths of a second down to Adam Delmont in this fight. Who is going to come out on top right now? Both cars just getting a little bit of kick on the rear end. Delmont more so than Doble. Backmark is getting out of the way for this fight. Dory now 8 tenths down, could very much be out of the fight for the win unless something happens between these two cars in front of him. Doble leading Delmont. Another slide from Doble there. He's got to be careful to look after his car. At the end of this race, the circuit has dried and they are on wet compounded tyres that have been worn for the last 23 laps of asking. But we come up now to the white flag lap. 3 tenths of a second from Isaac Doble at Adam Delmont. Delmont going for a yet another win, his second win this evening. Isaac Doble going for his first win of the league. Who can get there? White flag is out as they go through Paddock Hill Bend. Again, an early slide from Doble, collects it well. No slide from Delmont gives him the speed. He looks to the outside of Druids. He knows it's not going to work. He's trying to bait Doble into some sort of mistake here. Onto the grass, ever so slightly there. Is going to knock him down once more to 3 tenths. A slide from Doble. If Doble can keep it clean, facing the right way and not slide the car, I think he can take the win here. Through the final few corners they go. Onto the brakes. And they are going to take it. This order. Isaac Doble is going to come around to take the win. For the first time this season, Isaac Doble is race winner. Around Brands Hatch, Adam Delmont takes home second ahead of Jamie Dory. As battles behind come across the line to try and take any position they can. Carl Thompson's just gone off, recovering from a slow position, as this is Andy Houthouse trying to take past Mark Hughes across the line. Hughes holds on to 25th, just ahead of Andy Houthouse. As the rest of the field comes to cross the line, it is Isaac Doble who wins this one. A great result from Doble. Just commanded the front of the field here. Didn't allow anyone to get involved once he got in the front. He didn't let anyone past. And Isaac Doble, your winner for the final race of the day. Let's get our final race results up then, following that one from the final race today. Race number 3 over and done with. The results then, Isaac Doble taking the win for the first time this season out of Adam Delmont. Jamie Dory took home third, had a Nick Clibbins, a great recovery drive for him, and Kieran Sharp as well. Again, great recovery drives from Delmont, Clibbins, Sharp. Good drives from all of them this week. Toby Cole takes home 6th ahead of Craig Twardock, who took a nice second place from the championship leader there. Josh Brown in 8th. Ahead of Lean Horn and Adam Wilson Weir. Then it was Alan McCain ahead of Andrew Pike and Mikey Doble. Carl Thompson in 14th ahead of William Kurtler. Sam Smith and Michael Clough home in 16th and 17th. You can see less than just over a tenth of a second between them across the line. Then we have Matthew Sheverton, Sammy Uribe and Craig Jones rounding out your top 20 drivers. Matt Gatter came home 21st out of Parfit, Brazil. Sykes, Hughes, Outhouse, McGuinness, Oucher, Connolly and Frisch. Back in the field was Douglas. Out of the race was McDougall, Delmont, McGovern, Gardner, McGovern, both McGoverns there, and then Stock as well. Both McGovern and Stock out very early doors in this one. Let's have a look then to see if anyone is hanging about for a potential flick across to catch up with them at the end of that one. Let's see if Isaac is available for a quick chat after the win in the final race. Isaac, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Brilliant race at the end there. Once you got into the lead, you took a commanding drive, not letting anyone to get through. But of course, you had to make your way up to that front there. Wet track, but no rain. How did you find it?
Yeah, I mean, it was a great race there at the front at the end with Adam and Jamie. Such clean racing at the end. They were catching to the point where they're right on me towards the end. But it's just a mega race overall.
And so very fortunate that you had two drivers just behind you. They were slowing each other down every now and again. Couldn't quite get the run on you. But you went around, obviously, at Monza. You went around in race 2 here for some strong positions. Is it nice to get that win on the board?
Yeah, I mean, it's good to get the win. Good points towards the championship, where it will all add up towards the end of the year, I'm sure.
Well done on your win, and good luck for next week.
Thank you.
That was Isaac Doble, the winner from the final race of the day there. And then, well, quickly, we talked to him slightly earlier on in the broadcast. I want to see if we can get a word with Adam again with a great result in this final race.
Hello, Joseph. Yes, I'm here.
Hello, Adam. So the final race, then you had to work it back because race 2 did not go your way. But you were up there for the fight in that last race with Jamie and with Isaac. Couldn't quite pull it to the front, though.
Yeah, I mean, race 2, to be quite honest, after I changed tyres, I was actually on track to get a little bit further up towards the front pack again, but somebody span in front of me. I think they must have been on slicks, and they collected me while I was trying to drive through. Which caused me some damage and obviously halted my progress for a little while. So otherwise, I would have, I think, made it through to a good top 5. I think in race 2. So that wasn't too bad. I was quite happy with pitting for tyres and still getting a top 10 finish. So it's all about just consistent points finishes, and I know. Top 10's not fantastic, but it's points. It's better than a DNF or 0 points because you're too far back. So, that carried me into a better starting position for race 3. In reality, and with it starting wet and without there was never really a gambler going on to dries for that. To be honest, far too wet to start with. So it was an easy decision, and then Isaac put up a hell of a defence. Give him credit for that. I tried a couple of little things here and there, but he had me covered. So, but it was a really enjoyable race, man. I really enjoyed that.
It was a really close racing all the way at the front, and well done on your win, of course, back in race number 1, a second position here. And as you say, every point counts, and finishing inside that top 10 in that second race, it is going to help as we move forward. So well done for this week, and good luck next week.
Thank you, Joseph.
And then let's see if we can finally get a quick. He normally is talking when I pull him in. Is he going to be talking when I pull him in? No, he's not. It's Jamie. Jamie finishing 3rd in that race, in a final podium spot. You were so close to get past Adam a couple of times. Do you feel like you could have found a way through, given a few more laps? You think you had the best race you could?
To be honest, generally I think I could have won that. I made a mistake which led Adam through at Graham Hill. Got all crossed up. And yeah, I had the pace in the car. Obviously, lap 1 from 22nd to 9th. The car felt great. I love wet/changeable conditions. I like finding the grip. So I think I had the pace. It's easy saying that now, but yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed, but I'll take another podium.
And say, I don't know, you're still looking for that win. You just weren't quite there at Monza. You had a much better opportunity here in race number 3. It's coming your way. We can feel it. But yeah, that little crossover at Graham Hill, we caught it. And it was just a little bit of time lost through Wayne Adam, and just couldn't find a way back through. But surely that win's coming. Do you feel like you can get it next week?
Oh, I don't know, Zandvoort. I mean, I think the field throughout this series is quite tight, and the cars are obviously very slipstream dependent. So, it's not an amateur field by any means. Obviously, we've got class drivers and things, so a lot of it's luck, racecraft, and people getting caught up in silly little battles. So, I'd like to think so. I'd be quite upset if I didn't, but it's part of racing, isn't it?
Well, good luck for next week, and hopefully it will go more your way. Say disappointed for third, but it is still a podium. It's some good points going forward.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. Points mean prizes, right?
Indeed. Right. Good luck for next week, Jamie. Thank you very much.
Cheers, Joseph.
What a great set of races then. We just talked to your podium finishers in the third and final race of the day. We will be back out on track next week, of course, as Jamie's saying there, heading across to Zandvoort for the GP layout next Tuesday. It is going to be a fantastic circuit. I feel like Zandvoort is almost the perfect mix of Monza and Brands Hatch, because you've got your long straightaways where your toe is going to mean a lot. You've got your corners, your fast turns, your slow turns. It's a mix. It's a perfect mix, I would say. So Circuit Zandvoort next week on the 11th of November. Do not miss that one if you're watching over on the YouTube. Be sure to hit that little thumbs up button to like the stream, and also hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the Next Gen Racing broadcasts. If you're over on the Facebook page, make sure you followed the page and give that little stream a like as well and share it with your friends. And then be sure to also over on the Twitch channel, be sure to hit that follow button so you don't miss any of the broadcasts that are here on Beehive Build Broadcasting. Until next week, however, from the Next Gen Racing, I hope you have a fantastic week and you are going to enjoy any of the future races coming up. Until next time, though, here from Next Gen, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.